And welcome back, everyone. Lovely to see you all as always. And let's begin by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state however you normally do that. Using your word or phrase or your anchor, or focusing in on everything you love and appreciate about yourself. And start to feel your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest. Allowing that light or energy to shine out from you. And then allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Good job. Now light, that energy, allow each cell to produce its own light, energy, and love. Feel the love coming from your cells to you and to each other. Very good. And being sure to love each cell, whether it can do that or not. And now allow that light or energy to fill yourself as a child, that little you, any age, and love that little you no matter what. No judgment, no expectations, just love. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from that little you and to fill your whole childhood, shining that light into any darkness, loving it all exactly as it is, filling everything, everyone, every circumstance, every experience with this bright light. Very, very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone who's on the call today, loving each one just for existing. Good. Very good. And you can open your eyes if you haven't closed. And let's check in with each person, find out how you're doing. So, Lisa, you're first up. Let's unmute you. How are you today?
Good. Feel Good Friday. Yay. Yeah, I was looking at this is from your fabulous, magnificent book, since it's Fabulous Friday. It's about power phrases, and I think that's really good because when I was thinking about, the love in the cells, I was thinking, just even the word love or the light in the cells or anything, you could say anything. So, let's see. So one of the tools that can help you develop this skill is using a power phrase. You don't need power phrases, but they can help in the beginning while you're still developing your skill. Power phrases are also very effective when you're finding it challenging to tune into your power in a particular situation or with a specific person. So you can make up anything, any power phrase.
That's right. Yes, very good. Thank you, Lisa, for that reminder. And yes, power phrases. So for those who aren't familiar, power phrases are what I call so little phrases that you can use that create a certain feeling and that you can connect in your brain with the words or phrase and the feeling of unconditional love or the feeling of empowerment or love for yourself. And so there are some in the book, and it's certainly the one I use. So it could be anything. It could be love. It could be thank you, I love you. I use the Ho'oponopono phrase, which is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And then I condense it to just thank you, I love you. I use that. But it could be sausages or spatula. It could be absolutely anything. As long as you're in that state, you get into that state of love first. You start repeating that word or phrase while you're in that state, and then you stop and you do that a few times. And then eventually, when you start repeating that word or phrase, your brain will automatically start producing those chemicals. But using something like thank you, I love you is very powerful, or I can only create good for myself. Those kind of things will help, because of course your conscious mind will then be able to produce more feel-good chemicals because of the references you already have for that particular phrase. So thank you very much, Lisa.
Oh, sure.
As always, good job, you. All right, and Tina, you're next up. Hello, how are you today?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel tired today and very heavy. I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm okay. I have day off.
Yes.
There's not much to do at my work. It's getting worse and worse. We're going back to stage 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really good.
Mm-hmm. So tell me what's wrong with that. What's the problem with being with the problems at work, going back to stage 2 and so on?
We have less clients. We cancel so many appointments. Like we don't do facials on anything on the face.
Right.
And we are afraid one day we might be closed again. So that's not good.
And you love your job?
Yes and no. I like what I do, but I'm getting tired. I don't want to work anymore. My head and arms start to hurt. I don't know why. Yeah. Everything starts to hurt in my body, like it's worse than ever. I don't know.
Yes. So here's something that's very, very interesting. And this is for everyone. And it very often is tied to a job or work or relationship sometimes, whatever it is. So if you could wave a magic wand and have everything you want, would you still be working at this place?
No, of course not. I don't want to work anymore. I work from little kid. I don't want to work at all.
Right. So what's wrong with working less and less because there are fewer and fewer clients?
No, it's good. I have sometimes day off, but if we're going to be close again, I don't know. And she already let go 2 people. I'm scared if I lose job. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's very hard today to find job because there is so many people losing jobs. So.
Of course, absolutely. Okay, so this is so key. I'm so excited that you're sharing this because I know this is going to help so many people. We say we want things, and we do. We want certain things. We want this, we want that. But as soon as the thing starts to go away and we can't see the alternative that we think is the only thing that could be there, then we grab onto that thing, we go, and now by grabbing on, what I mean is we start feeling the stress chemicals, producing stress chemicals and feeling that feeling of, no, this is scary, this is worrying, this is danger, right? But now that's one thing if you're happy with what you have. So if it's a job you love and you don't want to leave, it's still a thing, but that's different. But if it's something that you don't want anymore, you're literally holding on to something you don't want anymore just because you can't see anything else from where you are. But there are millions of people in the world doing other things to make money. There are so many options and opportunities, like I said yesterday, especially today, to make money in all kinds of ways. But as I mentioned yesterday, while you have those programs, while you have the fear, while you're holding on to something out of fear or out of worry or out of that's the only thing I can see, your brain won't let you see or think of anything else. So either you won't notice the opportunities, or you won't have the ability to come up with the creativity or the ideas or that. Or very interestingly, when you do, when things come up and you think, you know, somebody says, or you notice something, oh, I could do that, your brain will automatically produce stress chemicals, and you'll go, I can't do that for whatever reason. And your conscious mind will find reasons to go with the feelings. So I'm too old, I don't have the right qualifications, it's too difficult, I don't have the skills, I don't have the time, whatever your conscious mind comes up with. But there are people with all kinds of challenges and setbacks, far more than any of us have here, who are making money because they've got different programming.
Yes, this is awesome. But the thing is, I was many times with no jobs, and the only thing I know is aesthetic. And if I lose this job, I don't know what to do. I'm going to probably end up in the store cutting hams or sausages and sell people. I don't know what else to do. I never knew what to do in my life. Yeah. And like, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like nothing for me. I don't see anything.
Yes. And all of that, everything you've just said, is programming. That's all it is. It's not true. It's not real. It's your perception and your understanding and your previous experience. Absolutely. It's real to you right now. But that doesn't mean it has to be. That doesn't have to be the case. Now, what I did before is, let's take worst case scenario. So, and I did this with myself. If my business doesn't work, what's the worst thing? What will I do if my business doesn't work? I'll have to go and work in a supermarket. And I don't want to do that. So what you've just said about, working in a supermarket, I don't want to do that, but I can. If I have to, then I can do it. It doesn't mean you have to be there for the rest of your life. So even if it does get to the point where you are working in a supermarket, your experience, this is key, your experience of working in the supermarket is not going to be determined by the supermarket or the people or the job. It's going to be determined by how you feel, the chemicals you are producing. Now, so what I did was I shifted my perception to look forward to it. And I thought, well, if I work in a supermarket, that's fine. I will look forward to certain things. So if I'm on the till, the cashier thing, then I'll enjoy that. It'll be fun. I'll make it fun. And if I have to pack shelves, which I would definitely not enjoy, then I will look forward to the breaks. I will look forward to the coffee breaks. I will look forward to the lunch breaks. I will look forward to after work when I get to go home, and I will make the most of that time. And while I am doing that and getting paid from that, I will create something else. I will make sure that I'm changing the programming, doing my best to be in a good state, and I will watch videos on YouTube. I will, share my journey, do whatever it takes to create something else, but very, very, very importantly, from the position of already feeling good. And, like I've said before, we go in the direction we're facing. So while you are focusing on the fact that you might lose your job, and if you lose your job, you're going to carry ham and sausages in a supermarket, then that's the direction you're heading in, right? And how much you don't like the idea. That's the direction you're heading in. Now, if instead you went, hopefully I won't lose my job just yet because I'm not ready yet to lose my job. It's not what I want to do for the rest of my life, but I'm doing it while I make a plan for something else. That's great. But if I do lose my job, worst case scenario, I'm carrying ham and sausages in a supermarket, I will find a way to like that. I will find some enjoyment in it, because what that does is it takes away the fear, it brings the stress chemicals down, and it means you can then take your focus off that. But as long as you're frightened of it or worried about it, your brain won't let you take your focus off that terrible thing.
I don't know, because I'm working on myself so many months now and years maybe, and nothing changed. So how can change now?
Okay. So so when you say nothing's changed, what do you mean by that? What hasn't changed?
I still do the same thing. I don't know. I still have no money. I cannot even buy car, which I really, really want to have a car.
Okay. And so what have you done? What action have you taken in order to move towards having money or changing job, doing something else for a living?
Well, this job I think is the best. I get raised, so I have better money than ever.
But you're not happy in it.
Still.
Because Tina, this is so important. Thank you so much for sharing this, because this is I know it's speaking to a lot of other people. So when you say, so I'm doing something I don't really enjoy. If I could choose, I would do something different.
I mean, I'm sorry. I like my job. The hours are terrible. I start 12 o'clock. I finish 7, 8 o'clock. I'm home at night, 9 o'clock. I have to eat because I'm hungry. I go sleep and I'm getting fat. You know, I can't not eat.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't like that either. But
in the morning, I have few hours. I do my exercise and I go to work. I have no life. The hours are terrible.
Yes. So why are you complaining that you might lose all that stuff?
Because there is nothing I can do.
Good job, sweetheart. Now, how do you know there's nothing you can do?
Because I know how before I was looking for a job and there is just minimum wage. They don't pay you. And the same thing, I have to work weekends, which now I have weekends off. Sunday I don't work. So everything is open Sunday. I don't want to work Sunday.
Okay. So now you don't want that. What do you want?
I don't know what I want. I want win jackpot and not work and not be worried anymore. Yes. I'm tired of my life.
All right. Now, here's the thing. You may win a jackpot. We don't know, but it's not reliable. It's not something like you go, well, if I buy this ticket, I'm going to win this jackpot and that's how I'm going to get the money, right? You don't have that. Now, you may do that, but I'll tell you what won't happen is you will not win it while you are busy focusing on the fear, the worry, the how bad things are, how much worse they could get, any of that, because you're heading away from what you want.
But you see, I was fine until we go back to stage 2, and until, like, how can I be focusing around what's happening with people who is telling me how bad everything is? I was really fine. I wasn't afraid. I'm not afraid of the COVID. I don't care. And it's like, I don't know, but because around everything, me is like changing maybe, I don't know. I'm not afraid, like I'm not panicking, but a little bit thinking because this what's happened.
Yes. So this is great, because now when you first started coming to these sessions, you were afraid. This was one of the things you were.
I was very afraid, but now I'm not.
So it's great. So things have changed. Something has changed there, definitely. And it's better than it was. And it's very important to acknowledge that and remind yourself. It's not that I haven't done anything. Things have changed. I have changed. Now, I don't see the circumstances outside of me that I want to see yet. But as long as you are looking in the different direction, that's where you're going. So whatever you want to see is where you need to be looking. Now, I completely understand with the stage 2 and the people talking about it and all of that. That's difficult. That's why, but we can't change them, right? And we can't make stage 2 different, and switch back or whatever, right? We can't do anything about that. So we have a choice. We always have a choice. And the choice is, we go into it, so we listen to it and we feel it, and we feel I wish it wasn't like this and all that, or we choose to pre-pave before we go into the experience with those people. Whenever we're going to see those people who are talking about it, pre-pave it. Expect them to do it. We know they're going to do it. We know they're going to talk about it, so it's not a surprise. Right, so we know it's going to rain, so we take an umbrella. So we know these people are going to be negative, so we get into a positive state first. And we pre-pave by imagining being there, the people are being negative, and we are in that state of, you can use the superpower, of course, you can use playing a song in your head, thinking of something funny, you can imagine they're not well in the head, you can imagine they're talking about the alien spaceship that arrived and they're terrified of that, and you can just go, oh yeah, okay, right? Because they cannot climb into your brain and body and change your chemical state. Only your own brain and body can do that. Now, it happens automatically, which is why most people feel, I don't have any control, I can't help this, they're doing this to me. But because we've taught you the techniques, you get to choose. You get to choose what you are focusing on, which determines which chemicals. So if you're listening to them and you're feeling frustrated, or you're feeling resistant, or you're whatever.
I don't feel frustrated. I just talk to them because it's okay. I just make jokes and whatever. It's like, I have to talk to the clients. I cannot just shut them.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you can choose to see it that they're talking about something fictional. They're talking about a movie they saw.
Subject, yeah, but sometimes I talk to them too. Like, doesn't bother me that I'm not frustrated or something. It's just I'm just laughing and I know like what's going on, but
yeah,
it's just I don't know.
What's the problem?
I don't have. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so this is great. So this happens when we make a change. When we make a core change to who we are, from negative to positive, we're not used to it. It's like suddenly, it's like becoming fit, and then your body starts, you get ill, you get injured, you know, you don't feel like it, you get too tired, because it's like an elastic band, and you're trying to stretch this elastic band, it's going to snap back. Or that's actually, let me use another analogy that I used to use. If you had a roll of paper, piece of paper, and you roll it up, and you keep it rolled up for years and years, and then you try and unroll it, it keeps rolling back, right?
Yeah.
You have to roll it the other way and keep it like that for a little while, not as long, which is great. You don't have to keep it years and years like that, just for a little while. And then when you let it go, sometimes it'll still roll back, or it might have a little bend in it, but eventually it's going to be straight, or roll the other way, whichever, you know, whatever you're looking for. But the point is, when it rolls back like that, when you feel those feelings again, don't buy into it. It doesn't mean you can't.
I have to say they are not very strong. It's just kind of mild, very mild, but maybe it's like, maybe you're right. Maybe it's changing something, because I was working on that last time when we were talking on Monday. I was going to my memory. I found the memory, and even today I go and there is something I think is big stuff. So maybe I'm changing, and I was thinking like, is this working, not working? I didn't feel like quite like weird, everything kind of weird. So maybe it's changing. Maybe that's why I'm
absolutely
like
that. And then we start feeling uncomfortable, and that I would bet that that's why you're tired as well. So I would say, when that happens to me, when I feel tired for no reason, it's like I don't feel like doing anything, I don't do anything. You just go, I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to give myself time to just relax. But be sure that you're watching where your focus goes. So take the day off, so you don't have to do anything, but make sure that you are focusing on things that feel good. You're doing things that feel good. And if it feels good to just watch TV, but make sure that what you're watching is uplifting, feels good, that you're not watching drama and things that are not.
I don't like that stuff even.
Okay.
I don't like
no news and that kind of thing, anything that doesn't feel good, and watch where you're putting your focus. So, you know, check in with yourself. What am I thinking about right now? Especially if you start to feel not nice. What exactly was I thinking about when I started to feel that not nice feeling? And catch that. So, but give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to relax. You don't have to.
Yeah, I always do that. For sure. I'm not going to do if I don't feel like to do it.
So now, as far as the job goes, this is very important, because at the moment you are ordering something in a restaurant and you've got an empty plate in front of you, and you don't want the empty plate, you want the food. And the waiter comes to take the plate away because the food's on its way, and you're holding onto the plate going, no, 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 no. What am I going to do without this plate? Right? But you need the plate to go so the food can come, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's going on right now. And it takes a leap of faith sometimes, but that leap of faith is empowering. You are going to be absolutely fine, no matter what. Even if you do end up carrying hams and sausages in a supermarket.
I'm not going to do that.
Even if you did. And that's why it's good to always go to the worst case scenario and go, what will I do if that happens? And make a plan. Decide, I will do this. And so that, because it brings down the stress chemicals and it frees your brain to get creative, find solutions, to think of things and notice things, because I bet there are jobs, there are opportunities, there are business options, there are all kinds of opportunities for you to make money. But
Yes.
but you won't see them, or you won't want to do them while you've got your focus on the
Because I don't want to work weekends. That's why there is nothing
But
for
there
me.
are
Everything is the weekend.
Do you know every job opportunity and every business opportunity that's available worldwide right now? Of course you don't.
No.
I don't work weekends. I don't work weekends. Sometimes I want to, but I don't have to work weekends at all. You notice we do these sessions only Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
There are lots and lots of people all over the world who don't work weekends. Some of them don't work, weekends and some days of the week. It doesn't mean that you have to, so what you're doing is you're looking at the things you don't want. I don't want to work weekends. Well, there aren't any jobs. And, that's what you're looking at. And so that's what you see. But if you start going, okay, so I want something that frees me on the weekends, so I don't have to work on the weekends. This is what I want. Then your brain will start finding those things and coming up with solutions. And now is the time to do it, so that you're not waiting till you lose your job and then you have to start looking. Allow yourself, give yourself that gift. Allow yourself to be open to whatever may come up. You may find something, but you won't if you keep saying there isn't, because I can tell you there is. So that's just a program. So allow yourself to entertain the possibility that there might be something much nicer, much more fun, where you don't have to work weekends. You've got much better hours. You work the hours you want to work. There's a lot. I can't tell you how much there is out there, as long as you're not going, no, it's not. Right?
Because I sometimes go to the Indeed and I search for what's there and it's nothing.
But Tina, you are searching from the position of there isn't anything. Right?
Okay.
So of course, that's what you find, nothing. Right?
Maybe.
That's why you need to open because your brain will filter out the things that won't fit into that. So if somebody's going, there is nothing, even when they look at something, their brain will filter it out because it doesn't fit with what they're looking for. And they're looking for there to be nothing.
Maybe, yeah.
So that's why you have to get into the state first. You have to get into that frame of mind first of there is. I just because I don't know everything there is. I don't know what's available in the world. That's what you need to say to yourself. That's the position you need to come from, because that's true.
What do you do? Okay, what do you do if you want to do something different, but you don't know what you want to do?
Then you pick a touchstone. So you pick a touchstone of a moment when you found and you're doing something that you love. And that can be, yes, I did it, or I love my life, just with no details. Because what you're doing then is you're setting your brain to look for something that matches that. And you don't know what that could be. There's lots of infinite opportunities and options. So you set your brain by picking just the moment of the feeling of it. You don't know what it is, but the feeling of, I love my life, or yes, I did it, or I'm so happy, I'm so grateful. Oh, thank goodness this happened. Any of those without any details. Doesn't, and each time your brain goes, oh, but what would that be? You go, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Like when you get on a plane to fly somewhere, you know, if somebody asked you, yeah, but what's the route? You go, I don't know. I'm going to, you know, Hawaii. I don't know how I get there. I get on the plane and I land in Hawaii. I don't know the details. I don't need to know the details. I don't need to know how the plane works. I don't need to know who the pilot is. I don't need to know the route it's taking. I get on the plane. I get off in Hawaii. But there's a time. It takes some time. And while I'm sitting on the plane, or even at the airport, and I'm not in Hawaii yet, I will do whatever I want to do to enjoy the time while I'm waiting to arrive in Hawaii. But I'm never going to doubt that I'm going to end up in Hawaii. Just because I'm not there right now doesn't mean I'll never get there. So I'll read a book, I'll listen to some videos, to some audio things, I'll watch some TV, I'll play a game, I'll do whatever, phone a friend.
Yeah, that's much easier. I love to travel, so that's easy to think.
And so what would it be like to be earning your living from traveling? For example, that's just one tiny example. And there are millions of people in the world who earn a living from traveling. Not necessarily that they're traveling or that they're getting paid. Some of them are getting paid to travel. Some of them talk about the places. Some of them do social media. Some of them do YouTube videos. There is just so many options. And there are many that I don't know either. But your brain will never find them while you're going, they don't exist. All right. How does that sound?
Another quick little thing I wanted to jump in with in regards to the allowing technique. When you feel that fear and doubt showing up, start to have a different relationship with it. So allowing the fear and doubt to be there, but then also thanking it. Have a relationship of, oh, thank you, fear, for showing up, because you're reminding me that I don't have my focus in the direction that I need to be putting it. Thank you for being here right now. So you can allow the fear to be there. It's like, oh, have a seat right here. I need to be putting my focus over here.
Yeah.
So you don't have to push fear out of your life. You can recognize it. You can start to have that relationship with it. Oh, yes, you're reminding me I need to put my focus over here. So instead of sitting there and arm wrestling with fear, don't have an arm wrestling match with fear. Just say, oh, thank you for that. And then put your focus in the direction that you want to go.
Yes. Very, very good. That's a great idea. So how, do you feel that's helpful, Tina?
Yes, it's very helpful. Yes, thank you.
And watch this video again. When the recording comes out, just listen to it again, because, you know, so you'll get it on different levels. And especially whenever you feel any doubt or worry, watch this again to remind yourself, because you won't remember most of it.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Good job, sweetheart. And thank you so much for sharing, because I know you're going to help so many others through this. Good job, you. All right. And Monika. Hi, Monika.
Hello, Adele.
How are you today?
Yes, fine. May I say something to this, what you explained? I remember my daughter, she only can work half a day. She has children. And she wanted to change her workplace. And then she looked and she saw, oh, there is a job in a company, and I like this company. I would like to work there, but they have only for the whole week the work, not only the half days, the whole days. But she said, oh, I try it, and she has written to them, and she got the job, and they made it for her half a day.
There you go.
She didn't know this. She only has known, I would like to work there.
That is such a great example. Did you get that, Tina?
To know this I like. This I like.
So even though the job was only half days, and she couldn't work half days, but she wanted to do the job, so she applied, and they changed it. They changed it so that she only needs to work half days, but it didn't exist before.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? So just because something appears to not exist doesn't mean you can't get it.
Usually I get a job what I want, like I wanted Sunday, Monday off, they give me. Like before, I was scared to ask them what I want. I was taking whatever they give me because I want the job. But now, no, I'm saying what I want and they give me.
And you'll find another opportunity like that as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if we were to rewind a year ago, or just whenever we started this 8 months ago or whatever, and I was to say to you, you can choose to have Mondays and Tuesdays off if you want, you would have gone, no, we can't, because they don't, that's not what they do, it's not how it works. But now look, and the point I'm making is that right now, from where you are, you can't see any other options other than doing this job that you're not completely happy with. But that doesn't mean those options don't exist. You have to be open to them.
Okay.
All right, good job. Thank you, Tina. And thank you, Monica, for that great example. Excellent example.
Yes, yes. And may I say something to Lisa?
Yes, of course.
At first, I want to say hello, Lisa. I didn't say hello before. And I want to thank you for reading with the book, what you're reading there. And it's exactly the point for me today, these power phrases.
Nice.
Thank you. And today it was, I noticed I felt guilty.
Uh-huh.
And after this feeling, then comes the hunger,
Yes.
very much hunger. I don't know in English
Oh,
this
yes.
word.
Yes.
Hot hunger.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and I had to eat because I thought I will fall down
Yes.
if I don't eat sugar.
Right.
And yes, and in this moment, I didn't know what to do.
Right. Okay.
But now I heard today this power phrase,
Yes.
and I was thinking, for me, I have to put something for me in front of me. So if there is another situation where I perhaps feel guilty or something else, what makes come the chemicals down,
Yep.
so that I have this power phrase to push them up.
Yes. Good job. Very good, Monica. And I'm going to give you something else as well. In addition to that, whenever you feel like you need to have sugar or you need to eat something that you don't want to eat, tell yourself it's okay, you can have it, but you will have a full glass of water first.
Mm-hmm.
You will drink a full glass of water first and then see how you feel. And if you still want the thing, then you can have a little bit, so that you're not creating that tug of war with yourself. And because generally, after having a full glass of water, you probably will find you don't need the thing so much anymore. And of course, have healthy stuff around that you can eat instead. So whatever you know is healthy for you, then you could do the same thing. You could say, I will have a full glass of water, and if I'm still hungry, then I'll have this healthy thing. And then if I really still want it, I'll have the other thing. How does that sound?
Yes, yes, very good. And I ate good stuff, but there was something inside me. It was so excited, so that it really was terrible.
Yes.
I had to eat something sweet to come down.
Yes.
I
And
cannot
I get that.
other explain, yes.
Yeah, I get that completely. I've had that myself. So I do know that that's, and sometimes then you just have to do that. So the most important thing is to not be beating yourself up about it, not be frustrated with yourself, not criticize yourself, just go, I needed it, I did it, it's okay, moving forward. And like you did, such a great example there. What will I do next time?
Mm-hmm.
That is perfect. What's my strategy for the next time this happens? And you make a plan. So that is brilliant. That was such a great example.
And I also wanted to mention that when you notice the guilt, which was preceding all of that, start with the allowing technique and just allow the guilt to be there.
Oh, it makes me sad you say this, and I think, yes, you're so right.
So going
I
back,
do this again and again to me, yes.
And if you can allow the guilt to be there without the judgment, so be there with that feeling, and it's just remind yourself that this is just a physical sensation that I'm feeling. No good, no bad. It's just allow that feeling to be there, and then as you're with it, you know, as you're allowing it to be there, then it can start pointing you in the direction of where did that little Monica feel that guilt earlier in her life. And that's ultimately what needs to change. But again, you can start to have that relationship with guilt, like I was talking about fear. It's like, oh, guilt, you're here. Oh, hi, give it a name. You can give, you know, you can give a cute little name to guilt. Maybe Hans. Hi, Hans. Oh, Hans, you're here. And it's like, what is it that you need to remind me that I've got my focus on something else, because that guilt is leading back to something, you know, so you can start to have that relationship instead of a struggle relationship with it. You can start to see how it's helping you move forward.
Okay.
That is so brilliant, Steve.
Thank you
so
yes,
much
really.
for that. That really is incredibly powerful.
Yes, yes.
Good job.
So, thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much, Odile.
You're very
Yes.
welcome, Monica. Good job. And thank you for sharing, because again, it'll help others as well. Good job. All right. And Swasti. Hi, Swasti.
Hello.
How are you today?
Yeah, it's really cool because I was going to kind of talk about the same kind of topic, because I've also been applying for kind of like part-time jobs because I kind of need something to do.
Right.
And this is kind of like a law of attraction success story, I guess. So when I used to go to school, like on the way, there was a place called Challenges. So it's like to do with people looking after kind of like mentally disabled children. And I really wanted to work there. I don't know, I just had this, I could see myself there. So I guess it was visualization at some point. But, and then yesterday I applied for that. So before I didn't apply because clearly references weren't in alignment with it. And then this morning I got an interview. So they said I have an interview next week. Yeah, and so it's kind of on a similar topic. I'm really excited.
Oh, so thrilled, Swasti. Well done, you, and well done for making the changes in your references that allowed you to actually apply, and for taking the action and doing it. And thank you so much for sharing it. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really nice. And also just like on the idea of unseen kind of things. So also there's like, I randomly found this website. It's called like free staff training or something. So it's usually used for people who work in kind of an environment where they need this course. So it's like a nationally recognized qualification. But because of my age, I basically get the course for free. So it's called mental health, like something about mental health in children and young people. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I'm like attracting all these opportunities, and it's so exciting. Really, really cool. Yeah.
This is just so wonderful. What a wonderful, shining example you are. Well done. Well done for, and the reason I'm very excited as well is because it hasn't been a straight line for you either, right? It's been up and down, for which it is for everybody. And what makes the difference is when we hit the downs, and I know it's not easy, I've been there a lot. When we hit the downs, it's not buying into that and just going, it looks horrible right now. There's all this terrible stuff. I can't see anything good, but I know that as long as I keep my focus you know, as long as I keep using the techniques, including the allowing technique, which Steve has reminded us of today, then eventually it will change. So well done, Swasti. I'm so proud of you. Good job, you.
Thank you. I do have kind of some fears around this as well, which is like what I wanted to ask and get advice on. So I also want to do driving. So all my friends have kind of done their driving test and they're all like over it, but I haven't done that. I'm really, like, I know I can handle the theory, but I can't. I'm just scared of the practical.
Okay.
Yeah. And also in the interview I have in a week, at Challenges, so my friend actually did work there. She's a year older. She didn't take a gap year, but she was just working there. And she says the people there are apparently really rude. So, I'm like, I don't want to form the same judgment because that's going to come across subconsciously to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so that's a fantastic opportunity. So I'll answer that first, then I'll come back to the driving. So the great news is she didn't have the superpower, did she?
No.
And
No.
so her experience of those people is going to be based on her references. So whether those people are intentionally rude or anything, doesn't matter for you. It makes absolutely no difference to you because your experience of them will be based on your new references and the state that you are in. And of course, you always have the option for, so number one, choosing to see them as saying crazy things like, you know, oh, how dare you be how dare you not tell us you were Elvis or whatever. And you can just go, okay, yeah, you know, what can you do? So that's one. Or to see them as characters in a sitcom, or in addition to that, if you're able to develop the skill, and I've used this a lot, and I've taught others to use it, if you're able to develop the skill of treating people as if they are the way you wish they would be. And you've used this, in fact, you've used this with your parents, I think, already.
Yes, yeah.
So you behave and you treat them as if they're the way you want them to be, as if they're polite, as if they're caring and compassionate. So they be rude and you go, oh, thank you. Oh, that's wonderful. Or whatever, you know, whatever's appropriate, as if they've just said something nice to you. And eventually they will start to behave the way, at least to you. It's not going to necessarily change them, but your experience of them will change. Because you're not playing the dance anymore. You're not hitting that ball back to them. So there's nothing for them to engage with. Right?
Yeah.
Because also, as you know, as rude as they are and whatever's there, if they are rude, that's to do with their programming. It's nothing, it's not mean. It's not, nobody is intentionally mean. Even when they are intentionally mean, it's about programming. It's automatic. All right. So you have all of that knowledge and you have all of those skills. You're not going to have the same experience your friend had.
Yeah.
No matter what they're like.
Yeah, to be honest, she's my friend. I shouldn't be shading her like this, but she does find people. She finds the majority of people rude. Like
that's it. And so it fits in because her brain is looking for what fits in with her programming. So whatever childhood memory she has and references she has will be providing the filters for everything she experiences from other people. Which is great. I mean, it's not, I don't mean it's great for her, but it's great for you because you have different references. Especially now. All right, good job. And so the driving, what is it you're most worried about the driving?
Well, I know most people don't pass first time, but I want to pass first time.
Okay, good. And so is that all? Is it just that you're worried you won't pass the first time?
No, I don't recognize myself as very competent at hand-eye coordination. Like, I hate tennis and I despise it to this day. So I don't know how I'm going to coordinate foot and hand together.
Okay, very good. This is great. So first of all, I'll share with you that I failed my driver's license 3 times. And the third time, the time I passed, I think I did the reversing in from both sides, reversing in from that side, reversing in from that side between 4 poles was fantastic. I got out of the car and tripped over one of the poles. You could drive, just don't walk. But, and I'm not good at, I can't play tennis. I've got no hand-eye coordination at all, any ball games of any kind. I've never been good at it. Now, but I drive. I've been driving for a while, and it's fine. Now, here's something to bear in mind. You are not good at tennis and you don't like tennis because you haven't developed the neural networks to play it. Right? Now, have you had any driving lessons?
No, I'm just more thinking about it.
So let me reassure you that when you have driving lessons, you will be taught everything that you need to know from the beginning, and you'll practice. And here's the key point I want to make for everybody about all kinds of things, not just driving. As you do those things, as you are doing those things, your brain is forming new neural networks. You don't need to be good at it. You don't need your eye-hand coordination. You just haven't developed those neural networks yet. Now, you don't want to go and do the test now before you've learned, of course, because then you would fail. But the fact that you will practice, and when you're ready, when you think, yep, I'm ready now, then you will go and do the test and you'll pass it. You may not pass it on the first go. We don't know until you have a go. And so the next piece to look at is what's wrong with not passing on the first go.
Judgment from
whom?
Well, my parents don't drive, like none of them.
Right. So
well, if I did fail last time, I don't know how they would react because they can't relate. But if they don't react in a nice way, well, they can't relate, but they can't judge me. But they probably will.
Let's say they do. They judge you. You should have. They don't know that it's quite a challenge, and so they judge you. What's wrong with that?
It's like mocking and making fun of.
Good. And what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with mocking?
Yeah, what's wrong with someone mocking you? What is it doing to you? So this is another great. Today's session is full of fantastic examples. So when someone is mean to you or mocks you or is rude for that matter or anything, as long as they are not physically hurting you, it's not really doing anything, is it? What's happening is your own brain is producing stress chemicals. But you can control that.
Yeah.
By how you're interpreting what they're doing and where they're putting the focus. But let's have a look at this very quickly. Is that feeling of being mocked? So let's say they mock you. What's that feeling of being mocked? What's the physical sensation of it?
It's just like kind of like shaky feeling everywhere.
Yes. And so now just allow that shaky feeling to be there without judgment and without labeling it. Doesn't mean anything. It's just a shaky feeling. Can you do that?
Yeah. I feel calmer.
Good. Very good. And so that's the way to handle it, certainly in the meantime and in the moment. When you think of it, when you think, oh, but if I don't pass on the first go, they're going to, or whoever's going to, whatever reaction, notice it, feel the sensation. Doesn't mean anything, it's just a sensation, allow it to be there. So that's how to cope with it in the meantime. And then, of course, you want to check childhood memories. Where in your childhood is there still a reference for being mocked or watching someone else be mocked? Or judged or whatever's there?
Yeah, it's just like a visual of the cousin, but no specific memory.
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
Many times.
Yeah, so it's that little piece left. Change it. If you can't change it, do the exercises until you can. Just change it to the opposite, positive, empowering. Then come back and imagine you don't pass your test on the first go and your parents are mocking you, and do that until it means nothing. Number one, it means nothing if they do mock you. And number two, you know they're not going to.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, thank you.
Good job, Swasti. I'm excited for you, sweetheart. Excellent.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Tina?
I just want to add something about driving. When I was renting the car in the beginning, I was so scared to drive. And when I was driving, I was always feel fear. I was very uncomfortable. And I don't know what I did. I just completely forgot about it. Now when I'm driving, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I don't feel fear. It's gone. Like, I don't know when, how, what's happened, but it's gone, the fear. It's completely different.
Yay.
I don't know if I work on something or just I get experience more. I don't know, but
That's fantastic. And thank you so much for sharing that, because that gives encouragement, I'm sure. And it could be one or the other, or it could be a combination.
could be.
Who
Yeah.
knows? It's fantastic, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But don't worry, Swasti. Just go for it. It's so much fun. You're going to feel free when you drive. It's awesome.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Tina. Thank you for that encouragement, lady. All right. So, Steve, any questions in the chat, or shall we go? I know we're only minutes away from the hour, so.
Yeah, but if we have time, I know that Natasha would like to ask a question. If you want to unmute.
Unmute Natasha. There you go. Hi, Natasha.
Hi. I don't know whether there'll be time to cover my question since it's already on the top of the hour, so maybe I should come back. But I did want some help using the allowing technique to do with an issue that I have, which is I seem to be like, I seem to consider that work is super important. Like I need to have a job. You know, and this actually ties into the earlier questions about work and working, etc. So I would like to have some help with finding those references. Like why do I think that work is important? I must have a job.
Yes.
You know, what will I do without it? How will I manage, kind of?
All right, very good. So
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Good. All right. So let's look at this. Let's say you don't have a job. What happens if you don't have a job? What's the problem with that?
It's like the end of the world.
Oh, good. Very good. And so that feeling of it being the end of the world, are you able to focus on the physical sensation of that? How does that feel in your body? It's the end of the world.
Yeah, it's like a panic, and as though, you know, I guess the ground has been taken away from me.
Very good. So that's good. And now I want you to focus on the actual physical sensation. So if you put your hand on your leg and you feel the physical sensation on your hand and the physical sensation on your leg. Can you do that first?
Yeah.
Good. Very good. And now I want you to home in on that feeling of panic and that physical sensation. So where in your body you feel it, what kind of sensation it is. Are you able to do that? I think you're breaking up a little.
Yeah, so it's in my throat and in my chest.
Good job. Very good job. And so we're
it's in my throat.
Your throat and your chest. And so we're not going to give it any meaning, and we're not going to judge it. It doesn't need to go away, doesn't need to change. Just allow it to be in your throat and your chest, whatever that sensation is. It's just a sensation. Are you able to do that?
Yes.
Good, very good. And so as you allow it to just be there, with no need to change it or judge it, what happens? Does it stay the same or does it change in some way?
It just went up a little bit.
Went up a little bit. Very good. And so just allow that. Allow it to go up a little bit. That's okay. It's just a sensation, so it doesn't mean anything. And what happens then?
So when I breathe into it, it reduces. It gets less.
Good job. Very, very good. And I want you to see now if you can step back from that feeling and have it in front of you. And if you could do that, what would that feeling be like? What sort of qualities would it have?
Fear.
Fear?
Fear, yes.
Good. And so now ask that little feeling, that little fear feeling, ask it what it needs. What does it need?
It needs security.
Good. Very, very good. And now, can you do something? Can you give that feeling something, or tell that feeling something, or do something for it to give it that security? That represents security for it.
It's a little hard.
Okay, that's okay. So
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to.
You were breaking up a little bit there.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So as long as you brought that down, now let that fear.
I'm unsure of what I should be telling the feeling. Yes.
Okay, all right. So it wants security. So an idea that you can use is if you can get an object like a wand or a hat or a, so a piece of clothing or an item or a crystal or something like that.
Sorry, it broke up.
Okay, so if you imagine, if you've got like a wand in your mind, or a hat, an item of clothing, or a crystal, or some kind of object, or a scarf, or whatever, and give that, imagine giving that to that feeling, and tell that feeling, this will keep you secure, or this will give you the security, or this is security.
Yeah, like a blanket or something. Yeah, okay,
Blanket.
I can do
Perfect. Perfect. Good job. Now let's look at childhood. So where in your childhood did you feel that same fear in your throat and your chest? And it may have nothing to do with work. We don't know.
I do have a history of moving a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And I'm trying to address that part.
Yes.
To where I don't move, and I'm secure, and the whole childhood references, mom and dad. Dad's always there, mom's always there.
Good.
But there's still an element of current fear.
Yes. Okay. So, and let's also look at, so the work thing, that you have to always be working, or you have to have a job. How do you know that? Where did that start? Where did you get that from?
So, so one example is I was downsized some years ago, and when that happened, I literally, it was like somebody passed away or something. I cried.
Okay, so here's my next question just there.
Yeah.
Did you lose anybody in your childhood? Any grief and loss, any deaths of a person or an animal or anything like that?
I don't remember anyone passing. My one grandparent passed when I was about 8 years old.
Okay. How was that experience?
I saw everyone else crying, so I cried too.
There you go. So that's a possible reference right there. You learned about loss by witnessing how you're supposed to behave to it, and you copied it. You did it because that's the way children learn. Right? So that's one reference you can change. And then the second question is, what was the worst move for you, the worst experience of moving?
To pick one.
Okay, yeah, or more than one, whichever. The first one that comes to mind, that was
yeah, I got one, yes.
You got one. Now, what was the worst thing about that move?
Like it was completely different, like a move, different countries. There was a lot of trauma in that because I had to learn new languages, and
That's it.
Meet new people, an entire new environment. Yes.
That's it. I'm getting waves of goosebumps as you're speaking. That is spot on. That would do it, because it's the same thing. It's the loss, it's the fear. And
Yeah.
so you know consciously that that's not going to happen when you do a different job, or when you don't have that job anymore. But your subconscious during that experience, along with whatever other experiences you had, made a link between big change like that and these same stress chemicals.
Right, yes.
So the thought of not having a job or any other change, probably your subconscious is going to pump, your brain's going to pump those stress chemicals into your system.
Right.
Make
Okay.
sense? So that's the one you want to change.
Yeah.
And you can do a stepping stone where it's you whatever the move was, but you are going away on holiday and you're coming back.
Okay.
So you went to Disney World with your family, and then you all came back again.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a stepping stone.
That's
you
right.
practice that over and over. And then the final move is whatever, whoever you wanted to come with you comes with you.
Okay.
Bearing in mind your subconscious can't judge something as unrealistic. So you can move whatever country you were in into whatever country you moved to.
Right.
Right? You can move the whole thing, all the people, all the language, everything. That's one option. Or you can wave a magic wand that you can suddenly speak the language. Or you were born speaking all the languages.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So create little memories that support that. People saying to your parents, she can speak this language and that language. That's amazing. And you go, yeah. And the parents go, I know, she was born that way.
Right.
It's amazing. Right?
Yeah.
Creating new references that prove that change is exciting and fun.
Yes.
So I know that I had to do that for myself, that I grew up in a family where change was bad, change was traumatic. You did everything that you could to avoid changing things. So if you're creating new references where change is fun, change is exciting, you come from a family, a long line of people where, change is encouraged, it's fun, it's exciting. Try some things like that too.
Yes, that's a good tip. Thanks. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Good job, Natasha. Thank you for sharing, sweetie.
Yeah. Thank you for answering.
You're very welcome. All right. So, Steve, let's do the target. Will you send me the targets? And let's take a deep breath and go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So, using your word or phrase, or your anchor, or by focusing in on everything you love and appreciate about your subject. Good job. Start to feel your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest. Very good. Allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very, very good. And then allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. And imagine each cell being able to produce its own light and energy, and loving all the cells around it. Feel how much each cell loves you as well as each other. Good job. Now allow that light or energy to fill your subject. And then imagine your subject doesn't want to be with you, or doesn't have the qualities that you love and appreciate in them, and keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Very good. And let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with this light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. And allow this light, this energy to overflow from Lisa and fill her daughter and her son and everyone else to have a love-filled weekend, whether they do or not. So love it all exactly as it is. Love them no matter what, whether they have a love-filled weekend or not. Shining the light. Loving it all exactly as it is. Good job. And now to Monika. Fill Monika with this light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Monika just for existing. Very good. Good job. And now to Tina. Fill Tina with this same light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Tina just for existing. Very good job. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with this same light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Swasti just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Swasti and fill people who've gone to university this year, especially students and their flatmates who have been affected by COVID. So fill them with the same light, this energy, this love, no matter what. Loving them exactly as they are. Shining this light into any darkness. Good job. And now to Natasha. Fill Natasha with the same light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Natasha just for existing. Good job. And now to everyone who's off camera today and all those who are watching the recording, fill each one with this light, this energy, this love. Love each one just for existing. No matter what. Very good. And now to yourself later today and over the weekend, whatever you'll be experiencing or feeling or doing, love that version of you no matter what. Keep that version of you filled with this light, this energy. Very good job. And you can open your eyes if you have them closed. Well done, everybody. It was a bit of a longer one this weekend, today, but I think there was a lot of good information there, hopefully very helpful. So lots of love to all of you. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you back Monday, same time, same place. I'll do the new link and send out an email once that's done. Lots of love to all of you. Bye-bye now.